China, as you know, against my statement, they put a 34% tariff on above what their ridiculous tariffs were already. And I said, if that tariff isn't removed by tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're putting a 50% tariff on above the tariffs that we put on. I have a great relationship with President Xi. I hope it's going to stay that way. I have great respect for China, but they can't do this.
Well, this morning, the Treasury Secretary said that China's escalation was a big mistake. One more point, Zimbabwe will become the first country to fold on the tariffs, suspending all tariffs on goods coming from the United States. In addition to that, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said dozens of countries have already reached out to negotiate. Watch this.
There are 50, 60, maybe almost 70 countries now who have approached us. So it's going to be a busy April, May, maybe into June. It's going to be very busy. And President Trump, again, gave himself maximum negotiating leverage. And just when he achieved the maximum leverage, he's willing to start talking.
All right, Charlie Hurt joining me this morning. Is Trump's strategy working so far? What say you?
Well, I think that it's working in his mind, at least, because he is going for a much longer game. I don't think he's looking for a payoff right now. If you talk to people inside the administration, they believe, in particular with China, that China's economy is a whole lot more fragile than certainly they would let on, and I think a lot of people in the United States realizes, and they believe that the idea that we never have presidents. We never have a political system where anyone plays a long game in the United States. No politician is ever willing to endure pain for a big payoff at the end. And Donald Trump is a different creature. He's not a normal politician. He's willing to endure pain, especially pain where he's in the barrel, getting all of the incoming and getting all of everybody's firing on him. He's fine with it because he believes long term. What he can do is he can reshape the economy, reshape the world economy, and bring all of these trading partners, and most especially, China, to the table with a far more agreeable situation for the United States.
He's taking a big risk, but he's rolled the dice.
Yes.
Let's see what happens at 12 noon today.
Yeah, we've never seen high stakes. Yeah, we've never seen high stakes politics like this,
No.
I think, in our lifetimes. It's amazing to watch.
I think you're right. Listen to this. Former White House press secretary Jen Psaki claims that Democrats just had their best week since Election Day. She says, and I'm quoting, "While there are plenty of reasons to fear the actions of the Trump administration, it's important to note that people are standing up to it," end quote. What do you say to that, Charlie?
I think it's a fair point, but, the problem is, I do believe that the resistance is real. But the problem for Democrats is that I don't think the resistance has moved 1 inch past where it was on Election Day last year. They still have their primary problems. First of all, they don't have any defining issues that help them. They're still a party of open borders, which has been flatly rejected by voters. And then the other problem they have is that they don't have a leader who is sort of percolated to the top. And if you think that, you think Kamala Harris is going to be that leader, I just don't think that going forward, that's going to be the future, hopeful future, a better future for Democrats. The other thing that I think is a little bit that Democrats have to be careful about is when you look at the markets. They saw those 2 days last week where the markets tanked, and they were kind of cheering it on, I think. And if you get caught out cheering on the markets, I think it's a very bad look for most Americans. They don't like to see that. They don't like to see politicians rooting for failure. But the other thing is, what happens when all of this turns around and Trump's bets, his gambles pay off and start benefiting the markets, and the market starts zooming upwards? Are they going to then applaud? I don't think so.
It's not doing too bad today, I got to tell you. Let's see what they say about this.
Yeah.
Charlie Hurt, thanks for joining us. See you again real soon.